these strains happen because we're not able to control our urges, right? So, how do we remove those urges from not scrolling and use social media for the way that we intended in the first place? Because we are mindful now. We're mindful to the fact that we want to use social media in a good form. Okay. So, how do we do that? Well, first of all, you have to really, really set an intention right before you get on your phone. Like, it is very, very challenging to even get on your phone and automatically fall into that subconscious habit that you've developed yourself into by knowing exactly where the pattern is on your phone to get to social media. Your brain knows this by habit by now, and it's already doing this automatically. So, by you switching things up a little bit, changing the theme of your phone to not know where social media is on your phone, so you have to look for it. And this makes it a little bit more challenging as the more binding you have for trying to get onto some sort of social media, the less likely you are to actually fall into that habit. Okay. So after you have done that, now you want to get into a position where you are intentional about what is the fact why you are on social media right now. And you are on social media right now because you want to learn something, right? So, what are you about to learn? You're about to learn X, Y, or Z. Could be coming back to my podcast episodes, could be coming back to another influencer's episodes, could be just learning about how to market, it could be learning how biology works, whatever it is. Okay. And now you have to make sure that that intention is solid and there is an understanding of why you are doing this in the first place. Because this is like the reason why I'm telling you this. The fact is that when you have such a strong why and a purpose and an understanding for this intention, you're going to go into the fact that you don't want anything to get in the way. Because this is such an important metric and value in your life that you want to achieve, that you want to understand, have knowledge over. And so when you have such an understanding of why, the how becomes impossible to not know. It just happens. It's like you don't need to know the how. It just happens, okay? So, and now you are in this position where you are on social media, okay? This is the hardest part. Once you are actually on social media, you have an intention and you have already tricked your brain in by binding yourself in already some form ways. It depends on what platform you are on, but for the most part, majority of those platforms like Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn, these three will actually be the best for you in learning something. So try to stay on these as much as possible. If you happen to be on TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook, those are going to be much more detrimental to what you are actually trying to intend to do because they are very algorithm specific. And yes, there's a lot of great content on there as well, but they also pull up things that you are engaged with already. You see, if you haven't gone through your entire Instagram list of who you follow and unfollow every single person that is not beneficial to your algorithm and to your social media feed, then it's going to be nearly impossible to not get distracted. Because there's going to be a new person with a new girlfriend or boyfriend. There's going to be some really funny meme. There's going to be some turtle dying, whatever it is. There's always some sort of distraction on all three of these platforms. And TikTok, for the most specific, of where it just throws you some random video. So you have to make sure that when you are on TikTok or Instagram, that you look for those hashtags, like I talked about earlier. You are going into those hashtags and looking up to the specific thing that you're trying to look for. Obviously, a Google search works really well as well, but to the point where if you want other people's experiences and wisdom and insight, where it's like you can feel their emotion, their tonality, and things of the sort, this is where it's the best. And I believe that if you can really focus and hone in on these skills, as you can condense the amount of information into a bite sized video to learn from, you're going to gain a lot. Really, you are going to gain a lot. But now, this is the next thing. You have all these pieces of information that you just watched from, and they could have been multiple different subjects, or they could have been one subject. So, we already know what to do if it's the one subject. It's obvious. You know what to do and you can take notes on it. But if it's a multiple different subject kind of theme that you've been happening to be around, you're kind of in a stuck situation here, because now your brain's overloaded with a bunch of different information. And all this information is really good for you, but it's also the fact that it's overloaded. And when it's overloaded, you're not going to be able to associate what with what. And your brain needs to be able to wire new connections to be able to actually learn. So, this is how you get around that. You have to really make sure that when you find like a common theme that you've been seeing that you enjoy, to really hone in on that theme. Like, you have been looking at a lot of videos, right? And some of them could have been about science, some of them could have been about geography, some of them could have been about psychology, okay? But there could have been more psychology than there was science. And so that means you would have to be able to just hone in on just the psychology, because that's what you are kind of leaning more towards already as you've been actually watching them. So it's going to be difficult to be able to just associate with a lot of different information. So I would really recommend to be able to try to do your best in getting these pieces of information to be condensed in your brain. Okay?